Dear friends, the DigiU system is online. I am Alexey Ognev. Welcome to our webinar. And today we're going to talk about the recent news. And I also would love to answer your questions. So please write them in the chat. And let's try to have this kind of interactive webinar type of a dialogue. And I'll share the recent news, the plans, the events that have been happening, and then questions and answers. We'll start as usual with the Russian chat, and then the most pressing, most important questions that move all us forward, that are of most interest to you. This is how we're gonna spend our time. As for the last events, you know that in our DigiU system, we are preparing for the strategic negotiations in Dubai at the end of May. And now we just need the final touch so that our delegations will go to Dubai to take part in the negotiations already scheduled for a general synchronization on the outcome of all these events. So this is now the most important issue that is of concern for me. And under the frame of this, all events are happening. You know that at the end of this year, this month, this is the second stage of increasing the value. From last month, we started decreasing the number of bonuses in the package, and we understand that from the very start of the ish system, there are always a lot of shares that were given as a gift. This is normal. This is a global trend, a tool for promoting a particular product. A company starts its way for promotion with distributing some material or free securities or gifts, and our company was not an exception. At some point, of course, we understood that those bonus shares should be decreasing and getting closer to zero because the value is increasing, the number of products and technologies developed within this ecosystem are growing, so the value of every particular security is going up. So when we've got this movement towards decreasing the bonuses is inevitable. So last year it decreased by 25%. This year we decreasing it by 25 more percent. So overall 50% for all bonuses in 2 months. So prior to going to Dubai with such a representative team, we've got thinking that most probably in the very near future, the bonus part would be cut down completely to zero in light of the future projects that we are thinking about and which we will present after our visit to Dubai. These projects are about artificial intelligence, implementation of our current technologies, our blockchain laboratory, and our achievements in the blockchain field, and also our educational platform, our partner activities. We are steadily developing in all these areas, and the result of it you can see in your personal accounts and everywhere where we share them with you. About Dubai, what we also wanted to state For example, for those who do not follow our events closely and join us at the webinars, the AVA team is now in Dubai, taking part in 2 international summits. One already took place from 12th to 16th of May, and the second one from 20th to 23rd of March. There'll be another one. So on both summits and summit exhibition, the AVA team has a stand where our technical officer is always there. Boris Povar, our chief information officer, is always present there. Like at the past exhibition last autumn, our stand is always very popular, and we understand that it is thanks to the DigiU ecosystem, to the work of the AVA company, there is a sincere and considerable interest to it. And we see that the interest is increasing. In December last year, many large companies announced that the 2022 year will be a cross-chain year, and it is confirmed now. We can see it. We see that the global events, and I talk now not that much about some power element of those events, but more about some restrictions imposed upon particular companies. And even crypto exchanges regularly state that some addresses might be under the issue. So a trend is emerging where blockchain, which is designed to be a decentralized, maximum free from all biases of government system, in reality, it is not that centralized. So if there is a desire, it is possible to bring any wallet into such condition that any person cannot use it. So in this sense, the AVA system is ahead of everybody because it is a truly decentralized solution. And when specialists look at the roadmap, they are immersed in the nuances of the projects. They do understand that this is a decentralized solution without any control, and we do everything so that any person in any country of the world can get everything that one wants under any technologies. So we continue developing within this trend and surprise the world. So in Dubai, those who watch us from 20th of May, you can go to the NVC Summit and you can get familiar with the AVA team. So this is perhaps all from the latest news that I wanted to share with you. Now to the questions. Why do I like them? Because several times a month I am asked to be speaker at a particular conference, which take place in different countries of the world. And when I can, when I have time, I speak in India, in Africa, in Latin America, in Vietnam, wherever we have developed partnership networks, national representative offices. So I speak there. And very often my speech is productive when I give a concept. What does it mean, the DigiU system? What are the main parts? What does every part do? And then I move to questions and answers. And it is this part of my presentation which is the most valuable, because I can ask the most pressing questions that a person in Africa, Asia, Latin America has. So if you have an experience of communicating with people in different countries, you can imagine that it may be very difficult to find the language that people will understand you, and not simply understand you, but there will be good interaction, because partners study you, then they make decision to invest, they make a decision to recommend your project, they make decision to develop a partnership network, a remote promotion of the project. This is a whole sequence of actions which is born after such contacts, after my speaking at these conferences. It is very important to outreach a person's soul, a person's brain, that a person would understand something very important for oneself. And a lot depends on my ability to find this rapport. I believe this is the most efficient, the most productive. So let's go to the questions. So first we start with the Russian chat. When it will be possible to buy token Ava? It will be possible when the project goes to my net. We plan it to be the second quarter, the beginning of the second quarter. We are very careful with the dates now. It is not an easy process for the company to improve something. There can be several audits. It's a lengthy process, but you may expect it in the second quarter. And it makes sense to go for alpha testing. Currently, as far as I know, about 300,000 people have a community, and more than 100,000 were involved in alpha testing past particular stages. It is a very interesting and productive processes for everybody, because there is a big army of people who tested. It's good for the team, and the testers, they get rewards and they get unbelievable experience, because cross-chain projects are on the cutting edge at the moment. And if you understand it, if you pass through several stages, you definitely enrich your experience of interacting with cryptocurrency, blockchain, and you'll be rewarded. Now we have, there are some financing rounds. At the moment, only large venture funds go into it, and you can listen to the webinars with Boris, for example, with people who are directly involved in such developments. And then after this, there is a possibility to acquire tokens. And obviously, if you are in the Ava social media, you'll be the first to learn about it, and you'll be able to make a decision to purchase when you know things from inside. Next question. Why there is this kind of property in the Russian Federation, autonomous non-profit organization? This is a standard and frequent question. Here, everything is simple. In 2019, when we've had an idea about DigiU creating an ecosystem through crowd investing, we found the easiest and the most clear form that from the very beginning enable us to maintain the balance of expenditures for creating the company and the possibility to operate legally in Russia, where we are directly present, and also work with those payment systems that would be able to provide stable access for our partners to purchasing our securities. So we consulted many lawyers and the autonomous non-profit organization was selected by us as the best form. So according to our roadmap, that was one of the stages to establish a legal entity that would enable us to further on operate at the global level, because from the very beginning we understood that the partners who would join us will be from all corners all over the world. And it's really like in the first month of our work, we entered this global market. This legal entity, autonomous non-commercial organization, enable us to do this. So we registered this autonomous non-profit entity, issued securities, and now we're transferring the intellectual property accumulated by this autonomous non-profit organization registered in Russia to the company that is registered in the European Union. And we understand that this legal concept was 100% successful, and it completed what it was expected. Further on, when the process of intellectual property will be completed, you will stop seeing this offer in your personal accounts from the autonomous non-profit organization. You can say to your partner that this legal form means that you voluntarily give a property contribution to the organization, then you pass through KYC, and when after this the company enters you in the register of security holders. So DigiU Finance and the autonomous non-profit organization has such relations that enable to exchange this share for securities. So it is a very simple procedure, and you can tell your client to acquire a share in securities, pass through KYC, and then you'll be a holder of securities of a European company. How do you consider the long-term prospects of DigiU wealth? I always answer questions the way I understand them. So, if you don't hear something when I'm answering, then perhaps the way you formulated the question is not that clear. So, it's my recommendation, be very precise in your questions. The long-term prospects of DigiU wealth, in my opinion, are very positive. It means that the product operates on a promising market, and throughout the years of its existence, the product generated a lot of positive response. A lot of people heard about DigiU wealth. It is not a super clear project. It doesn't have a very limited audience. The people who understand what does it mean DeFi, why you can and must earn on this market, and why it's better to earn on this market through DigiU wealth. So this is for a particular audience. There is also audience, a group of people who came from DigiU. To understand the prospects of a particular product, I always recommend to assess the market, what its product work. If the market is growing, if it is promising, in particular international conditions, then obviously that the prospects are very good, because it is always easier and better and more reliable to work and earn money on a growing market. And DigiU Wealth operate exactly on such a market. We see that the profitability is going down a little bit, but it was expected, because we see that the market of DeFi projects attracts liquidity users. And from the very beginning, the rates were quite high. When many players come to the market, then of course, there is certain stabilizations and profitability. The rules of the game were formulated more precisely, clearer. That is why there is a certain trend for profitability going down a little bit. DigiU, however, works on expanding its possibilities, looking for solutions who would allow to earn more. And one of the projects, one of our developments that we were mentioning is now at the high stage of readiness, and it will allow to make money DeFi through the infrastructure of classic brokers. And there is work in this area, companies, certificates, and at some point we will present this solution, and that will be another step that will be enabled to use the DigiU ecosystem to attract even more people to DeFi system using the tools of a classic broker. These products are not always clear to a person, and I'm trying to explain to people the specifics of this work. It is always not a very easy task. Transferring intellectual property to the EU means that we will be able to use it there. And such questions, they usually happen due to the lack of knowledge. This process is embedded in our roadmap from the very beginning. There is a document, the DigiU ecosystem concept. It's on the first page of our site. You will always able to read it. And from the very beginning, we stated that we're going to operate under jurisdiction that enable to most efficiently develop our company that work with blockchain, artificial technology, artificial intelligence, and has an international network of staff and partners, and is developing most efficiently in the international environment. So this, when we say about linking with the future, not linking with the future, it doesn't make much sense, because part of our team is in Russia, part is in other countries. Either is the team disseminated in various countries. Why? Because it is not always possible to find highly skilled professionals in just one city, one country. So that is why we talk about business process, which is defined from the very outset, and it enables our ecosystem to develop efficiently, taking into account the interest of all our partners. The question is about sanctions against Russia and how they can affect entry of exit or DigiU Wealth clients. The answer is that the current situation attracted even more attention to our products. There are no restrictions. They're not simply observed, they're not impossible, because we have an infrastructure that is not affected by such factors. So it is a very safe situation. Now, we will move to the question from foreign chats. If there are more questions in the Russian chat, we'll come back. French chat. It's a statement, but it's inspiring. Our partners say that DigiU guarantees our financial freedom. I talked a little bit about our educational platform, and now we already recorded several courses on financial freedom. In the near future, I'm not going to announce it because it's at the moment of being translated. We're preparing these educational materials. But I'd like to state that financial freedom, it's not important just for our partners, but it is also being developed and cultivated through our educational products, which soon will be presented. What is the number of remaining shares and sold shares? Last year, last December, for the first time, we paid dividends for the third time because we wanted to create such a system that it would generate profit and then it can be translated into dividends. Every time paying the dividends, we always sum up what sum is earned, how it's going to be allocated, what's the sum of the dividends, and how it's going to allocate it. At that time, we were talking about selling and given as a gift, because you know that partners also get as bonuses, as gift. So at that time, about 170 millions was sold. It is not that many because you know that 200 billions were issued. So it's a small sum, less than 1%. So in view of decreasing the bonus in increasing value, the proportion of securities probably for the next date of dividend payment, which will be in July, we probably will reach percentage. Something like this, how this process is organized. An important question: AVA tokens will be given according to the purchased DigiU shares. Last year, in October and the following months, we wrote that the DigiU system possess particular number of tokens, about 5%, because we are a company that breed these questions, that as a seed investor. The venture DigiU fund was an AVA seed investor, so 50 million tokens are in possession, in ownership of DigiU ecosystem, and there are different ways of disposing them. One of the options is to give them as a gift to securities holders so they can use them the way they want. Considering this option, we understand that not everybody has wallets, not for everybody it is important, and many other options developed as to how these 5%, 50 million tokens can be used. And at some percent, it can be sold, the profit can be distributed or used somehow. For example, it can be deposited for incurring the interest rate. So there are several options, and we will present several most attractive options to our community. I'm not a big fan of voting as to how to choose the options, but in any case, you will understand clearly what we're gonna do. And if, for example, we understand that long-term priorities for depositing this under certain percentage, then that's what we will do. If there are other options, and everything, whatever we do, we always tell about it. It's the basis of a healthy and balanced rapport and connection with our partners. When do you want to translate DeFi education to other languages? We have already launched this project, and we do hope that in April the course will be already in 6 languages. We already raised this issue, so you can expect it. Due to the progress in the roadmap, can DigiU become a public company prior to the scheduled date? And what would be the price? That's right. We repeatedly stated that we are ahead of our roadmap, and recently we published, as I say, there is always a concept. There is what we planned to do under this concept what we planned in 2019. And I always recommend to everybody who is new to our project to go and see what we said at that time and what we did throughout this period. And the difference is always in favor of what we did, not just what we planned. In terms of the commercial success of our system, there are always several options, and this is right. One is public placement of our securities. It's not always the best option because in this world there are companies who became public and there are companies who did not. There are companies who work for many years paying dividends, but at the same time they do not go public, and then at some point they become public. So if we look at the actual events on the market, there are always many options, and we also see a lot of such options. For example, a project can go for IPO first. Another project can go to a local blockchain exchange, and you can see it with an AVA example. Obviously, the IPO process is a very lengthy period. It takes several years if we wanted to do it at a reputable exchange. If we understand that this is necessary, it is commercially right, we'll do it. Typically, these questions are related to misunderstanding as to how it is possible to earn within the DigiU ecosystem. You can get dividends, you can use a product, you can be involved in informational promotion and gain pretty good income. There is a procedure of buyout, which also can be done in a necessary moment. So please follow the news. We tend to speak less, do more. Now we're back to the Russian chat. Here is a question. Now money goes to cryptocurrency and company will be developing rapidly. Should we think about your competitors? What are the advantages of your company? Okay, I answered the question as I mentioned, the way I understand it, because you formulate it like, is it worth to think about competitors? Well, of course, analysis of competition is one of the basic elements of any business. You need to understand the market you work in. You need to understand strong players and understand why they're strong. You need to understand why the weak players are weak. And you need to balance, making sure that every day you become stronger and stronger and you move away as far as possible from the weak players, decreasing the risk which every day exists in every business. And any events in the DigiU history just confirm it. We developed throughout the pandemics, which nobody in the world could expect it with the border closures, the current event, which shocked everybody. And you can see that our company is developing, it is growing, it is developing products under such conditions that become potentially unicorns. I'm talking about Ava, for example. And of course, we look at our competitors and we study what they do. So answering the question, is it worth to think about competitors? I presented our position. We not just think, we study them very carefully. It is one of the business processes, not only in our company, but everywhere. Whenever you do anything, you always look at your competition. How can you describe the advantage of our company in a couple of words? For me, the advantage of our company is in three main elements of our company. First, it's our technological basis, which comprise our laboratories of artificial intelligence and blockchain. And the breakthrough ideas are developed here that later become unicorns. Technological solutions are born that potentially are very useful. They are patented, they are used with crossbreed, as our technical director says, and then a new level of technologies reached. Second, very important element, our venture fund that from the very outset was created, because we understand that our technology team cannot cover everything and all the tasks that we face. It means that we need to attract those who do it well or can potentially do it well to our system. The venture fund adds technological ideas and it's expand our basis. And the third very important element is our partner community. So from the very outset, we've been developing those three elements, and you can see in the very center, I presented you the picture, in the very center, when they overlap, that's the core. Our partner community enabled us from the very first day to study not only the market where we are in, but the market of 180 countries. We have very strong community in India, strong community in Indonesia, Africa, Latin America, Europe, the CIS states. These markets are absolutely different, and the DigiU ecosystem is understood differently there, but we understand it's already the third year that we work. We understand that there are people who we can rely on in terms of developing our ecosystem and promoting our products. After our visit to Dubai, we'll give a lot of time to this, showing our products and promoting, introducing this to various countries on the world. So this is how we see how we need to do business. So DigiU is not only just cryptocurrency, it's artificial intelligence, it's our partner community, it's marketing. And it would be good to watch a conference which we recorded in December. It's a very good transcript. So get to our channel and choose the language which you would like to watch it. Cool. Thank you. Well, thank you. And I suggest we can close it. Let me check if there are more questions. Dear friends, today, March 17th, this year, there'll be another regular increase of value and decrease of bonuses. So if you're still thinking about a package, a securities package, there'll be no better time than now. So you need to act fast, study, choose whatever is of interest to you, any form of payment which is convenient for you, and do it. Immerse in the world of technologies, and of course, take care.